Good morning, students. This is session 1 of 8th standard Social Science, Civics, first unit, How the State Government Works. So, children, listen carefully to this session. If you have any doubt, make a note of it, which shall be clarified on the day of reopening. So, now let's see what is social science and why we need to study the social science. So social science is the study of human relations and how the human interact with the environment. So social science is the study of human relation with the environment. So to make it simple, social means relating to human society and how it is organized, and science means study of the physical and natural world and phenomena. So social science means study of the human society and their interaction with the environment. So now let's see the branches of social science. So first one is, as you all know, history. So history means it is the study of past events in chronological order. And the first unit in 8th standard social sciences, advent of Europeans. So advent means arrival. So why the Europeans entered into India? Europeans means the people from the Europe, the traders from the Europe. So why they entered into India? Mainly for trading purpose. So especially for spice trading. Next we have seen about geography. So geography means it is a study of human beings and their relation with their environment. So it is a study of the human beings and their interaction with the environment. So the first unit in geography is rocks and soil. So we have seen about the different kinds of rocks and how the rocks are formed and how the rocks are weathered. Weathered means broken down. So how it is broken down to form a fine particles called soil. And we have seen about the different types of soil. Now we can move on to civics. And another major branch in social science is economics. So now let's see what is civics. So civics means it is the study of citizens and their rights and their duties. So citizens, who are the citizens means they are the member of a community. So the citizens are the member of the community and are entitled to the protection of that particular government. So civics means the study of the duties and the rights of the citizen. So citizen means who? They are the members of a particular community. So now to make it simple, civics is the study of the relationship among the government, the society and its citizen. So it is interlocked. So it is a study of the relationship between the government, the society and the citizen. So I hope you are clear with the definition of civics. So children, I hope you are clear with the history and geography first unit. So now let's move on to civics first lesson, how the state government works. Now let's see the introduction. So there are two sets of government in our country. So there are two sets of government. So the first one is the central government and next is the state government. There are 28 state government in our country. Every state has a government to rule its own administration. So there are 28 states. So at present there are 28 states in our country. So we have 28 state government and each state government has their own administration to rule the particular state. So children, we have two sets of government. One is central government, another one is state government. So now the government has three branches. So what all the three branches is? Executive branch, legislative branch and judiciary branch. So to perform the various functions, the government of India have three branches. So first one is executive branch, legislative branch and judiciary branch. Now let's see about its function one by one. So children, first one is executive branch. So executive branch consists of president, vice president and the cabinet minister. So what are the major responsibility of the executive branch is to pass the laws made by the legislature. So legislature or parliament. So legislative or parliament. So it consists of Lok Sabha, which is your lower house, and Rajya Sabha, which is your upper house at central level, and the prime minister. So major responsibility is to make the laws. So the major responsibility of the legislative branch is to make the laws, and the executive branch has to pass those laws. They have to approve those laws. Then the judiciary branch. So judiciary means it is related to law and order. So the judiciary branch consists of Supreme Court of India. So the major responsibility of it is to solve the conflicts. So conflicts means problems. Conflicts means problems that arise between the executive and the legislative branch. So the major role of judiciary is to solve the problems or the conflicts between the executive and the legislature branch, and other public related matters or conflicts are also solved in the court. So these are the three major branches in a government which is formed to perform various functions. So first one is executive, next is legislative, and third one is judiciary. So legislative will make the laws, and executive will pass the laws, and judiciary will solve the problems between the executive and the legislative. Not only that, other public related matters are also solved. So children, I hope you are clear with the three branches in the government and their functions. So now, today we are going to discuss only about the state government. So how the state government is formed and what are the functions. So children, first we can look at the state executive, the governor. So let's see his powers and function. So children, the governor is an integral part of the state legislature and is considered as the head of the state in India. So governor is considered as the head of the state in India. He is appointed by the President of India. So children, make a note of it. It may be asked in one word. So who appoints the governor means he is appointed by the President of India. He is the constitutional head of a state. The governor is appointed for the term of 5 years. So the term of office for a governor is 5 years. So, but before the expiry of his full term, the president can dismiss him from office. So before the 5 years itself, the president can dismiss him, or the governor himself may also resign out of his own interest. So the term of office may be extended and he may be transferred to another state. So even the term of office can be extended. So it may be extended for another 5 years based on the president's opinion, or he may also be transferred to another state. However, the state government cannot remove the governor from his post. So the state government has no right to remove a governor from his post. So whereas it relies on the central government. So children, the governor is appointed by the President of India and he is considered as the constitutional head of the state, and his term of office is 5 years. And the state government don't have any right to dismiss or to remove a governor from his post. Children, now let's see the qualification to become a governor. So what all the qualification a person must possess to become a governor? So first one is a person must be a citizen of India. So he should belong to India and should have completed 35 years of age. Then a person should not be a member of a parliament or the state legislature. So he should not either be a minister, that is a member of parliament, or he should not be a MLA, that is member of legislative assembly. Then a person should not hold any office of profit. So he should not have any financial income either by business. So these are all the qualifications that a person must possess to become a governor. So first one is he should be a citizen of India, completed 35 years of age. Citizen of India and 35 years of age, and should not be a member of parliament, that is MP, or the member of state legislature, that is your MLA. Then a person should not hold any office of profit, that is any business. So children, do you know while appointing the governor, the president acts as per the advice of union cabinet. So by asking the advice of the cabinet minister, the president appoints the governor. So the state government is also consulted when the appointment is to be made. So they will also consult the state government. So generally the person is not appointed as a governor in his own state. So he should not belong to that particular state. For example, if a person has to be appointed as a governor in Tamil Nadu state means he should not belong to Tamil Nadu. So that is the meaning of this line. So the president has the advice of his cabinet minister and also he will consult with the state government when the appointment has to be made, and the governor, that is the person who is appointed as a governor, he should not belong to that particular state. So now let's see the powers and functions of the governor. So the governor is the chief executive in the state. So all the executive powers of the state are vested upon him and the decisions are taken in his name. So the governor is the chief executive. So as I said, the government has three branches: executive, legislative and the judiciary. So the executive major function is to pass the laws which are taken by the legislature. So the governor is the chief executive in the state and all the decisions which are taken in the state government are approved by him. So are taken upon in his name. Then he appoints the chief minister and council of ministers. So governor only appoints the chief minister and the council of ministers. So now let's see the functions. He makes some important appointments of the state government. So he makes some important appointments. So one, as I told earlier, he appoints the chief minister and council of minister. So other important appointments are the advocate general, the chairman and the members of the state public service commission. So he make the appointments in these sectors: the advocate general, the chairman and the members of the state public service commission and others. Then the president imposes emergency in a state under the article 356 on the basis of the report of the governor. So the president, he imposes emergency. For example, if there is any health issue prevailing in a particular state means the president imposes emergency and they will allot a budget to that particular state on the basis of the report created by the governor. And then the governor also acts as a chancellor of state university. So the governor will also act as a chancellor of the state university. Next is he summons and prorogues a section of the state legislature and he can dissolve the legislative assembly. So he summons and prorogues. So children, summons means he can call upon a meeting. So summon means he can call upon a meeting, or prorogue. So prorogue means he can dismiss a meeting. So he has both the power. So he can gather the meeting or else he can also postpone or dismiss the meeting. So he summons and prorogues the session of the state legislature and he can dissolve the legislative assembly. So he can also end the legislative assembly. So next, he can also pass the money bill. So the money bill which are created in the state legislative assembly is passed only with the approval of the governor. So let's see it. So the money bills can be introduced in the state legislative assembly only with the approval of the governor. So money bills means it is concerned with the financial matters like the taxation or the public expenditure. So public expenditure means the money which is spent for the welfare of the public in the particular state. So all the money bills are introduced in the assembly only with the approval of the governor. So these are all the powers and functions of a governor. Then the governor may nominate one member from the Anglo-Indian community to the legislative assembly. So he can nominate one from the Anglo-Indian community, and he can also nominate 1/6 members of the Legislative Council from among the person who are experts in the fields of science, literature, arts, social service and cooperative movement. So he can nominate one from the Anglo-Indian community and 1/6. So among the 6 members, he can nominate one who are very expert in the field of science, literature, arts, social service and cooperative movement. Then the annual budget of the state government is laid before the legislature with the approval of the governor. So the annual budget means, annual means what? The year. So the year end budget is laid in the assembly only with the approval of the governor. So the governor must give his assent to all the bills passed in the legislature, including the money bill. So assent means he has to give approval to all the budget as well as the money bills. So now let's see what is budget. So budget means what? It is a account. So it is like a future account of the government. So it gives a proposal of income as well as the expenditure of the government. So the budget is presented by the finance minister. So budget means what? It is a account, that is a future account of the government, and it includes all the income and the expenditure of the government, and it is passed by the finance minister. So now let's see the position of governor, that is the role of a governor. So the position of governor is compared to the president at the central level. So the position of governor is compared to the position of the president at the central level. So now let's see. The position of the governor of a state is compared to the president of India as a nominal executive. So he is a executive, nominal executive, who is appointed by the president of India, and he acts as an agent between the central government and the state government. So as I told before, he is appointed by the president. So president is at the central level. So he acts as an agent between the state government and the central government, and the state government don't have any rights to remove the governor from his post. Therefore, he is responsible for maintaining the relation between both the governments. So now, the governor may advise the council of ministers when faces difficult situation. So if there is any difficult situation in a state, as I told, if there is any health issue, for example, you take any health issue prevailing in a particular state, so the governor may also ask the advice from the council of ministers how to overcome this situation. Then the president declares emergency in a state on the basis of the report of the governor regarding the law and order situation in the state. So as I told before, based on the report of the governor only, the president will declare the emergency in the state and the budget will be approved. He may seek information from the council of ministers regarding various activities of the government. So the governor may also ask information from the council of ministers about the administration and the functioning. So now let's move on to chief minister. So far we have seen about the governor, the qualifications to become a governor, and what all the roles and the powers and functions of governor. Now we can see about the chief minister. So the governor appoints the leader of the majority party in the state legislative assembly as the chief minister. So who is chief minister? Chief minister is the leader of the majority party. So children, the majority party means the party which has more number of elected candidates. So that is also called ruling party. So the leader of the ruling party is the chief minister. Then he is the head of the state council of ministers. So chief minister is head of the state level council of ministers. He remains in office so long as he gets support of the majority members of the legislative assembly. So he remains in his term of office so long means until he gets the majority support from the members. When he loses the support, he has to resign. So, the resignation of chief minister means the resignation of the whole council of ministers in the state. So, why it is mentioned like this means the chief minister only chooses his council of minister. So, the council of ministers are chosen by the chief minister. So, for various departments like health departments or water departments. So, on the resignation of chief minister means what? The resignation of the whole council of ministers, because the council of ministers are appointed by the chief minister. Then the chief minister must be a member of a state legislature. That means he has to be an MLA. So before becoming a chief minister, he has to become an MLA. If he is not, at the time of his taking over charge, he must be so within a period of 6 months. So at the time of taking overcharge means at the time of taking his post as a chief minister, if he is not a MLA means within the period of 6 months he has to become a member of state legislative assembly. That is, within the 6 months he has to become a MLA. So now let's see the powers and functions of chief minister. The chief minister is the chief administrator of the state. So he is the administrator of the state. All major decisions of the state governments are taken under his leadership. So under his leadership only all the major decisions of the state governments are taken. Then the chief minister plays an important role in the formation of council of ministers. So that what I told, the chief minister only appoints the council of ministers for various departments, education departments, health departments, or water departments, drainage departments. So like that, the chief minister only appoints the council of ministers. So on the advice of the chief minister, the governor appoints the other ministers. So on the advice of the chief minister only, the governor will make appointment of the other ministers. So the chief minister supervises the activities of different ministers and advises them accordingly. So he supervises. So he will do the administration work and he will advise the ministers. So children, I hope you are clear with the functions of chief minister. So he is the chief administrator of the state and all major decisions of the state government are taken under his leadership. And he is the one who formed the council of ministers for various departments and he supervises their activities and advises them accordingly. So children, the chief minister plays an important role in making the policies of the state government. So he is a important role in policy making at the state level. He has to ensure that the policies of the government do not go against the public interest. So he has to make sure all the policies are made for the welfare of the people. So it is a duty of a chief minister to make sure that the policies made under his government are working for the welfare of the people. Then he plays an important role in making higher appointments of the state government. The governor appoints different higher officials of the state government on the advice of the chief minister. So on the advice of the chief minister only, the government will make the other higher appointments at the state level. And is council of ministers. So the council of ministers which are selected by the chief minister also appointed by the governor upon his opinion. Then we can move on to the legislature. So in India, the state legislature consists of governor and 1 or 2 houses. So the state legislature, the head of the state is governor and 1 or 2 houses. So let's see it. First one is the upper house. So upper house at the state level is called legislative council. So children, make a note of it. Upper house at the state level is called legislative council and the lower house is called legislative assembly. So upper house is called legislative council and lower house is called legislative assembly and the overall head of the state legislature is the governor. So now let's see about the Legislative Council. So children, before seeing the Legislative Council, first you have to understand what is a constituency. So we know that it is very difficult to administer the whole state by a single ruler. So for that purpose, the state is divided into number of small areas called constituencies. So the state is divided into number of small areas, that is small regions or small wards, and which is a specified area covering one or more districts. So each such constituency has an elected representative who is a member of the Legislative Assembly. So as I said, it is very difficult to rule the state by a single ruler. So for that purpose, the state is divided into number of small areas called constituency, and each constituency has a representative. So he is called the member of Legislative Assembly, that is MLA. So each region has an elected representative, that is MLA. So the state Legislative Assembly consists of more than 500 members, but it should not be less than 60. So I hope you understood the meaning of constituency. So now let's see about the MLA. So who is an MLA? So every 5-year election is announced for state Legislative Assembly. The political parties nominate their people for each constituency. So as I said, the state is divided into different small regions. So each region is represented by a representative. So he is known as MLA. So all members of the Legislative Assembly are elected on the basis of adult franchise. So adult franchise means what? A person who has completed 18 years of age has the right to cast their vote. So it is right to vote. So according to the voting system, the MLAs are elected. So the member of the Legislative Assembly, that is MLA, is a representative elected by the voters of an electoral district, that is the constituency, to the legislature of the state in the Indian system of government. So the MLA is elected by the people. So to be a member of the Legislative Assembly, that is to become an MLA, a person must be a citizen of India. So these are all the qualifications to become an MLA. He must be a citizen of India and he must be at least 25 years of age. So the minimum age is 25 and must have such other qualification as may be prescribed by the president. So now let's see about the Legislative Council. So the parliament is the central level. So the parliament is the central level and it has two houses. One is Rajya Sabha, another one is Lok Sabha. So Rajya Sabha is the upper house and Lok Sabha is the lower house. So in this lesson, we are going to concentrate only at state level. So at state level, we have two houses. As I said earlier, one is Legislative Assembly, which is your Legislative Assembly is considered as the lower house. So which is also known as Vidhan Sabha. And Legislative Council is the upper house, that is Vidhan Parishad. So in some states, we have both the houses. So those states are called bicameral states. If there is only one house, that is if there is only Legislative Assembly, then that it is called unicameral state. So unicameral state has only one house, that is Legislative Assembly, and it has no Legislative Council. When both the houses are present in the state, then it is called bicameral state. So children, now let's see about the Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council. So the Legislative Assembly are the members directly elected by the people. So as I said, the MLAs are elected by the people. So the members of the Legislative Assembly are directly elected by the people, whereas the members of Legislative Council are not elected directly. So in Legislative Council, the members are not directly elected by the people. So 1/3 are elected by the members of the state Legislative Assembly. So 1/3 are elected by the members of state Legislative Assembly and 1/3 are elected from the local bodies such as municipalities and panchayat, and 1/6 are nominated by the governor from the field of art, science and literature. As I said, 1/6 is nominated by the governor, and 1/12 are elected by the persons graduate of 3 years standing residing in the state. So 1/12 are the graduates, and 1/12 are elected by the person engaged for at least 3 years in teaching in educational institution within the state. So these are all the categories according to which the members are elected in the legislative council. So this is a difference between the assembly and the council. So children, I hope you are clear with the difference between the legislative assembly and the legislative council. So now, do you know which are the states which follow bicameral legislature means? In India, there are 7 states. So at present in India, there are 7 states which follows the bicameral legislature. So Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Bihar, Jammu and Kashmir, Karnataka, Telangana and Uttar Pradesh. So children, make a note of it. There are 7 states in India at present which follows bicameral legislature. So first one is Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Bihar, Jammu and Kashmir, Karnataka, Telangana and Uttar Pradesh. So now let's see the definition of bicameral. So as I said before, bicameral means what? It consists both the houses, that is the upper house and the lower house. So upper house is the legislative council and lower house is the legislative assembly. So in government, bicameralism, so bi means what? 2. So camera means chamber. So it has 2 chamber. So it is a practice of having 2 legislative or parliamentary chambers. So thus a bicameral parliament or a bicameral legislature is a legislature which consists of 2 houses or 2 chambers. So bi means 2. So this is the definition for bicameralism. So now let's see about the legislative council in detail. So legislative council is a permanent house. 1/3 of its members retire every 2 years and elections are held to fill the vacant seats. So it is a permanent house and 1/3 of the members, they will retire for every 2 years and the election will be made to fill the gap, to fill the vacancy. The members are elected for the term of 6 years. So the term of office here is 6 years. To be a member of legislative council, one must be a citizen of India and should have completed 30 years of age. That is, to become an MLC. MLC means member of legislative council. What are the qualification needed is they should be a citizen of India. So one must be a citizen of India and must have completed 30 years of age. So as I said earlier, to become an MLA, to stand or to contest in an election as an MLA means one has to complete the 25 years of age. Whereas to become an MLC, MLC means member of legislative council, one has to complete the age of 30 years. The chairman is the presiding officer of the legislative council. In the absence, the deputy chairman presides over the meeting. So the meetings are held or headed by the chairman. So on the absence of chairman, who will conduct the meeting? The deputy chairman will preside the meeting. So children, I hope you are clear with this. They are elected from among the members of that house. So the chairman and the deputy chairman are elected from the members. They are elected among the members itself. So legislative council is a permanent house and the term of office is 6 years. And MLC, to become an MLC, one should have completed 30 years. So now let's see about legislative assembly. The people who make the laws of a state government are called members of legislative assembly, that is MLA. So children, make a note of it. MLA means member of legislative assembly. So they make the laws of the state level. So MLAs are chosen from different constituencies. So as I said before, the state is divided into small regions and each region is represented by an MLA. So the MLA is chosen from different constituency. So for the election of MLAs, the entire state is divided into different constituencies. So the entire state is divided into different constituencies. These constituencies are called legislative constituencies. One MLA is chosen from each legislative constituency to represent the legislative assembly. So as I said before, one MLA is chosen from each constituency to represent the particular political party. So children, now let's see the elections to the assembly. That is the process of elections. So the different political parties compete in the election to the legislative assembly. So the different political parties will compete. So they will take part in the elections. So these parties nominate their candidates from each constituency. So the political parties will nominate their candidates for each constituency. Then the candidate is a person who contests in the election. That means he participates in the election and he will ask the people to vote for him. So he start to campaign. So he start the campaign process. So a person to become an MLA, he must completed the age of 25 years. So a person has to be at least 25 years old to contest for election to the legislative assembly. So each party has their own symbol. So each political party has their own symbol. Then all people residing in the area of the legislative constituency who are 18 years of age can cast their vote in the legislative assembly. So all people in the particular legislative constituency who have completed 18 years of age can cast their vote in the legislative assembly election. So children, this is the election process. And I hope you are clear about the election process in the state legislative assembly. So now let's see some more details about the legislative assembly. So according to the constitution, a legislative assembly cannot have more than 500 members and not less than 60 members. So as I said here earlier, the legislative assembly, the members should not be more than 500 and it should not be less than 60. So some seats in the legislative assembly are reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. So there are some reservation for scheduled caste, that is SC, and scheduled tribes, that is ST candidates. The governor can nominate one member from the Anglo-Indian community. So as I said before, the government can nominate one from the Anglo-Indian community, that is the English speaking community. The members of the legislative assembly are elected for a term of 5 years. So the term of office is 5 years. The meetings of the assembly are presided over by the speaker. So whereas in legislative council, the meeting is presided by the chairman, and on the absence of chairman, it is presided by the deputy chairman. So here in the legislative assembly, the meetings are presided by the speaker. So on the absence of speaker, the deputy speaker will conduct the meetings. So the speaker and the deputy speaker are elected from the members of the assembly. So I hope you are clear with legislative assembly. So the members should not be more than 500 and not less than 60, and there are some reservation for SC and ST candidates. So children, now let's see how the State Council of Ministers are formed. For example, consider the state Tamil Nadu. So as I said before, it is very difficult for a single person to rule the whole state, to rule the entire state. For that purpose, the state is divided into number of small constituencies. So it is divided into small regions or wards. So there are 234 constituencies in Tamil Nadu. So there are 234 regions in Tamil Nadu. So and each region is represented. So there are totally 234 constituency, and each constituency is represented by a person and he is called MLA. So each constituency is represented by a person. For example, if you take a class, so a class means a class consists of 40 students. So a single teacher cannot maintain the 40 students. So they will appoint the class representative, that is a class leader. So like that, it is very difficult to rule the entire state. For that purpose, the state is divided into small constituency, and each constituency is represented by a person, and that person is the MLA. So for example, now in this case, consider two parties, that is political party A and political party B. So these two parties are now contesting in the election process. Then what is the first process? It is campaign. So the candidates, they started to campaign. Campaign means they started convincing the people why they have to vote for them. So they will tell all the election manifesto. That means election manifesto means what all the things they will do for the welfare of the society when they come into power. So they will started to convincing the people, and they will ask to vote for them. Then the next process is the election day. So the people who have completed the age of 18 can cast their vote. So after what? It is the result, election result, announcement of election result. So in our case, we have taken two political parties as an example. That is political party A and political party B. So after the declaration of the election results, suppose if political party B got 118 seats. So as I said before, there are 234 constituency in Tamil Nadu. So 118 means it is more than the half of 234. It is more than the half of 234. So automatically they become the ruling party. So the winner of the election is party B. So they become the ruling party, and one among the member of the particular political party is chosen as the chief minister. So children, the head of the ruling party or the head of the majority party is called the chief minister. So the chief minister in turn appoints his council of ministers for various departments. Example, health department, education department, forest department, fishery department. So like that, the chief minister appoints various ministers for various departments. And finally, the party with more elected candidates forms the government, and the chief minister and the council of ministers are appointed by the governor. So children, now let's see about the process of election in India. So first, what I told, we will file the nomination. First one is nomination, then analysis of nomination, then later the campaigning process. So as I said, they will start convincing the people why they need to vote for them. So that is called campaigning process. Then the voting day. So after voting day, what happened? The vote counting day and the result declaration day, and then the formation of ruling party. So ruling party means what? The party which has more elected candidates. So children, I hope you are clear with today's session about the powers and functions of the governor and the chief minister. So now let's see some textbook pages related to today's topic. So children, this is page number 201. The first unit of civics, how the state government works. So we have seen about the introduction part. So here there are given 29 state governments, but at present there is only 28 state governments. So you can also make a correction here. Then the state executive, I have told about the governor. So governor is the constitutional head of the state. Then we have seen about the qualification to become a governor. Must be a citizen of India and 35 years of age. So he should be completed 35 years of age and cannot be a member of parliament or state legislature. Then we have seen about the powers and functions of a governor. And next is page number 202. So in that we have seen about the major powers of the governor, like he summons and prorogue. So summon means call upon a meeting. Prorogue means can postpone the meeting. Then money bills are introduced upon the approval of governor. Then governor can nominate one from Anglo-Indian community and 1/6 from the expert of science, literature, arts, social service, cooperative movement. An annual budget is also laid before the legislator on the approval of the governor. Then we have compared the position of the governor with the position of the president of state. So governor position is compared to that of the president of the state. Then we have seen about the chief minister. So governor only appoints the leader of the majority party as the chief minister, who in turn appoints his council of ministers. Then we have seen about the powers and functions of chief minister. So he is the chief administrator of the state and he forms the council of minister, and then he supervises his minister and advises them accordingly. Next is page number 203. So in that we have seen about the legislature. So two houses. Upper house is legislative council, lower house is legislative assembly. And at present only there are 7 states that have legislative council. So these are called bicameral state, which has both the house, legislative council and legislative assembly. And then legislative council is a permanent house. So it is a permanent house in which the members are not elected by the people. Whereas in legislative assembly, they are directly elected by the people. So in legislative assembly, the people elects the MLA. So MLA means member of legislative council. Then we have seen about the election process, how the election process is carried in the state assembly. Next is page number 204. So in that we have seen about the council of ministers. So how the election is carried out, and I have given the example of Tamil Nadu state. And then we have seen how the council of ministers are formed by the chief minister. So in our next class we can see about the working of state government. So children, it's time for questions. So I hope you are clear with today's session. Now let's see some evaluation questions. So if you have any doubt in the question, you can go through the whole session once again. So first one is define constituency. Name the 2 houses of state legislature. Mention the qualifications to become a governor. Write any 2 functions of chief minister. Define legislative council. So children, answer all these questions in the separate notebook which you are maintaining for social science. So in our next class, we can see about how the state government works and how the bill is converted, how the bill becomes an act, and about the judiciary of the state. Thank you.